somewhere with several thousand of people had gathered, and I come away honestly feeling like everybody there was playing a role, but at the same time being their self, being their true, absolute self, and it was kind of refreshing. It was kind of refreshing. That place wasn't a banquet. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't even a church service. It was a Comic-Con. Now, some of y'all may have never heard of a Comic-Con. That's a place where thousands of people that like comics and comic books, writers, storytellers, impersonators. That sounds bad because I was just saying that everybody was their self. People that like to do love their childhood, heroes or whatever it is, was there. But whatever it was, everybody was being their self. Like, this is who they were. They wasn't afraid. Like, if they liked Batman, they would come wearing a Batman shirt, or there was some dressed as Batman. But you could tell they were being sincere. This is who I am. This is who I am. This is what I love. This is what I'm doing. No one was trying to outdo nobody. No one was trying to, what do they call, keep up with the Joneses there. People were there just enjoying a comic and creative culture. It was really, really nice. Now, I went, didn't know what to wear. I kind of wore like what I typically wear every day to work. I wore, a shirt, like a blazer and some blue jeans and whatever. And I wore a baseball cap, and I thought that maybe looked weird, but I liked the way it looked, and it's kind of my gig, I guess, kind of what I like, And got there, realized I was really overdressed, very well overdressed. But no one looked at me strange. Like, I'd never been to a Comic-Con before. Brought some friends with me, Mark and Jake and Jacob, and we were all dressed differently, but still, everybody there was in their element. I didn't feel so much in my element, but I soon got comfortable. And, of course, I was there looking for old comic books and things like that. But I got a feeling that everybody there was pretty comfortable with who they were. It wasn't like anybody was trying to outdo anybody else. Everybody was there displaying their passion for the love of creativity, whatever it may be. And I didn't feel like that no one was judging me for wearing a blazer. I was the only one in the building out of thousands of people there that I saw wearing a blazer. You say, why is that important? Because everybody there, even myself, was being authentic. And I've always heard that you've got to be authentic. No matter what you do in life, you've got to be authentic. You can't be somebody else. I felt very comfortable there because I didn't have to outdo nobody or try to outwit anybody or anything like that. I just felt absolutely comfortable. And you know what? Everybody else seemed to, too. There wasn't any kind of a bullying pressure or a pressure to outdo somebody in business, or even the vendors there seemed to even work well. Even though they were there selling comics and goods and toys and things like that, still there was just a pretty big camaraderie. And that was refreshing to me. The only place that I feel like that is at church. It almost had a church-like vibe, But if we're honest, sometimes we feel out of place at church. We don't feel 100% connected all the time. I know that, and this is not a pity party podcast to let people say, yeah, that's true. I don't feel, but this is a time that I like to address that sometimes people don't always feel comfortable in church. And it's our responsibility to make that happen, to make people feel welcome, to push people to get involved and things like that, and to encourage people to do that, to encourage people to find a creative outlet and do something for the kingdom of God. That's hard at times. You know what? That's hard. That is hard to come into a church, whether it's a big church or a small church, and you're it's your first time being churched, if I can use that word, it's hard to sometimes assimilate. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. And thank God we have a new believers class at our church that kind of guides people in those ways and directions and things like that. But even with that, sometimes people can feel like they don't belong, or they don't feel, I'm going to use this word, and it's a terrible word. It gets used a lot, a clique or something like that. You know, there's always going to be groups of people that enjoy doing things that other people don't, and it still cohesively works inside the church. I have a small group, about 7 people, and we have 500-600 people go to church. I have about 7 people in our group that really enjoy collecting whatever it is. It's a collector's group, and we all come from varied backgrounds, but when we come together for our small group, it's almost like a little church setting. It's almost like a collective of creators and collectors and people that like to share their ideas. And there's so much energy and so much good, if I can use the term, good vibes for that. So small groups is very, very important in creating an atmosphere for people in the church, whether they're new converts or old converts or just verts. Be authentic. Be authentic. Love people. Love God. And don't be afraid to wear a blazer to a Comic-Con. Yeah, there's an Elvis impersonator over there doing Hound Dog, and there's a guy walking by looking like Batman, and there's some guy that's dressed as a robot or whatever. You wear your blazer like me, and you go and you be a part. Same with church. You go and be a part of your church. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter. We're all coming together for the good to create a culture of Christ. And I would like to think that we can create that at our churches, that make people feel comfortable but want to do more. Next year I may go dressed up as, I don't know, I may go dressed as Batman. Or if I don't lose all this weight, maybe Chubby Man or whatever. But anyway, I guess it all comes down to being authentic. Being who you are, not being ashamed of who you are. And loving yourself and loving people. So, I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I want to create that. I want to create that in my family. I want to create that at the church. I want to recreate that in kids in my Sunday school class. I want them to know that you don't have to be a certain last name. You don't have to have so many grandmas in church or anything like that to be effective in the kingdom of God. And I want to be authentic. I want to be authentic. I want to present Eric Adcock, and I want to be authentic, and I want people to see Christ in me. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Pretty sure. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah.